I'd like to introduce you today to the Deerseeker Takedown Recurve Bow. Wooden handle, beautifully laminated, and bolt-on limbs. Should always be remembered with recurve bows, there's a top and a bottom. This brand indicates the top with the letter A. In the package we have 2 bolts and an Allen key to allow us to tighten the limbs up. This bow also comes with accessories. We have an arrow rest, a bow stringer, finger tab, and arm guard. We also have arrows available that will suit this bow, and we'll talk about those shortly. But let's talk about the most important thing is how to string a recurve bow. If you string it incorrectly, it's quite easy to break the limbs. So, let's talk about stringing a recurve bow. Today I want to talk about stringing a recurve bow. It's very, very important that you use the correct method to string a recurve bow. If you don't use the correct method and you break the bow or damage the bow, you'll void the warranty. So the first thing you need to know about a bowstring is there's a top and a bottom. And you can very easily tell the top and the bottom by looking at the loops, and you'll find one loop is much larger than the other. So the small loop is the bottom, the top loop is the big loop is the top. The other thing you need to use is a bowstringer. And a bowstringer, this particular style of bowstringer, has 2 pockets that fit on the limb tips, a large one and a small one. So how do we string a bow? So the recurve bow we're going to be stringing today, and the first thing we do is set the string on the bow by taking a large loop, placing it on the limb and pulling it down the limb, and the small loop goes on the bottom, and we pull all that nice and tight together, and it's ready to be strung. So then we get the bowstringer. And I mentioned there is a top and a bottom to the bowstringer, and it's actually reversed to the bowstring. So if you remember, the small loop goes on the bottom of the string, the top loop goes on the big loop goes on the top, but with the bowstringer, the big pouch goes on the bottom and it encapsulates the string on the bottom tip. The second one, the small loop end goes on the tip. It gives you enough area to actually slip the bowstring on. So ideally, we stand on the string in the balls of our feet, hold the bow in our right hand, using our thumb and our first finger, we put them up on each side of the bowstring, and we pull the bow up towards us, drawing the string up into the groove, and then we make sure it's seated inside, take the tension slightly, and then pull the string away. And the bow is now strung, ready to be shot. When you buy a bowstring, the first thing you'll notice is the string is shorter than the bow, because we want the bow to have a brace height. If we had a longer string, that brace height would be too low. And it's really important that we get the correct brace height. So for a bow of this size, which is 62 inches in length, we want a brace height of somewhere about 7.5 to 8 inches. Longer bows, higher brace height; shorter bows, lower brace height. To unstring the bow, we do exactly the reverse what we've done to string the bow. Big loop on, big pocket on the bottom, little pocket on the top, 2 feet on the bow. In the balls of our feet, we draw the bow up. Again, using our thumb and first finger, we slip the string around off the loop, let it slide down the limb, and the bow is now unstrung. That's the only method you should be using Experienced archers use other methods, but if you're a beginner, only use this method. Good shooting.